the fourth or the fifth time in my tenure that I'm attending this presentation. On each occasion, I've been fascinated by the work that has gone into this, by the directions that you have pointed to, which is not to suggest that I have bought that you have what you have said hook, line and sinker. I'm trained to look for the difference of nuance, but each time I must say it's very high quality, so congratulations. I believe this is the 11th occasion that you are making this presentation. So our friend Gareth, who's going to be taking this over, you have, what is the expression in the English language? Hard shoes to fill? I don't know.
Big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill, yeah. Well, let me just, for no other reason that I'm currently in a mood to look for a methodological flaw. It's brilliant. I think I was talking to Arun and looking around at the other CMDs. They'll all agree that the direction you're pointing towards is based on meticulous study of all the forces at play. There's one major, in my view, you may think it's not important, and we can discuss that. What is the role of the government in India in influencing those trends? You mentioned ENP, I could point a few others. My view is that if you look at what you said 11 years ago and going backwards and projecting forwards, did you 11 years ago, for instance, have an idea that we would be doing 20% biofuel blending? I don't think you could have, because I don't think I believed in it. I was ambassador to Brazil and I was fascinated by the ethanol story there, but I would never have believed we could have done it. And yet, we set ourselves a target of 10% blending by 2020. We did it, not 2022. We did 5 months in advance. I was shocked, even though I was the implementing agent. We set ourselves a target of 20% blending by 2030. We did it 6 years in advance. And now the problem is not how much further I can go from 20%. There's a big internal tug of war going on whether you want to go to 25, 27 or something, which I don't think. We will go further, but after we consolidate and after we have taken the system along. Equally, where I would think that there is some scope in the time to come is to look at government policy in the energy sector so far as it impacts on the sections of your report which you have covered a little more closely. If I look at what the scenario was prior to 2014, and I naturally use 2014 as a dividing line, because that's when the Honorable Prime Minister took responsibility, and I know what the transition goals are thereafter. My sense is that I put that on one side, but I also want to go to the global sector. I was talking to Arun, we were whispering so as not to disturb your this thing. I said, what happens in the case of, first let me complete the earlier part. I mean, we had a decade here between 2006 and 16, nothing was done on ENP. Nothing. I totally agree with you on the point. If you have to maintain existing levels of production, you've got to spend a lot of money. And I think my friend Karthikeya sitting there and Arun are collaborating in the rejuvenation of, listing of Mumbai High. And both of them are very excited about it. But the fact is a lot of money will be spent. But what is missed in that is the change in the government's policy framework. That's why I come back to where the role of governments is important. What is missed is that today we don't expect BP or any of our major partners to come and put a lot of capital into this. We said, we will invite you to provide technical services for which you will be compensated. And if we do well, you will have first right of refusal. I mean, Oil India and the Andaman and so on. Now, for 2006 to 16, I had a dead decade, I had nothing happening. Then if you look at what's happening after 2014, it's very proactive. So I think somewhere in the analysis, I don't mean in India's case, overall, what are the governments will have? Now, for instance, EVs, why do I come to that? My colleagues get very excited with me sometimes. They said that, state government X and Y, they are putting it all on EVs, but they don't realize that, well, first of all, I think a lot of people should draw inspiration from your outlook and educate themselves that whoever suggested that oil is going to peak by 2000, it's not peaking even by 2050. According to your analysis, there's going to be a lot of fossil fuel around till then. I mean, I was looking at this one chart and beautifully captures it. And this should be primary education material for everybody. All right. So where are the others going to go? Let's now look at EVs. I look at the number of EVs, the figure doesn't add up to very much, but it could. In the end, my own idea is a hybrid flexi-fuel model. If road transportation is the main area, then we should be looking at that. I put that aside. Now I come to natural gas, where my CMD colleagues and I, we have a brainstorming session every month, all of them, and we, try to, in an unconventional way. My own view is that there is going to be more natural gas available than we are currently accounting for. And I don't mean just from the traditional sources, there's more natural gas coming up everywhere. I mean, in the Andaman discovery, which I announced the other day at the Basin Initiative in Mumbai, I mean, yes, there is gas there. There was gas in the first well, there's gas in the second well, they've taken it for testing, now they're doing the other tests to discover the part. What will happen to the power sector? I have a lot of power plants which are lying, not closed or below efficiency, etc. I totally agree with you. If I get reasonably priced gas, which I think I will from 2026, there could be an impact on that power sector also. That's one way of looking at it. Secondly, I mean, I always look at these scenarios to, I have a habit. I always look at everything to get the better positive vibes out of it. And I said, well, a lot of energy consumption, which means the economy is doing well. But there may be some other things in there. Do we seriously think that by 2050, the fuel of the future, which to me is green hydrogen, that will not be present there in some? I have a very different view on that. If you look at our history in the last few months, IOC's tender for the first, which refinery was it? I think Panipat, which L&T got. I was told that green hydrogen will succeed only when the price comes down. Well, the price, which I found out was $5.50 a kilo, which was earlier. If you remove your GST from it, it's what, $4? Less than $4 if you remove the GST from it. Second tender was floated by HPCL. Is HPCL here today? Yeah, sure, sorry. That was won by somebody in UAE or something. And if you remove the GST, it's less than $3 or, yeah. I mean, I spend $150 billion a year, I means India, on the imports of traditional fossil fuels and energy. Just imagine if the price of 1 kilo of green hydrogen comes down to say 2.5, and it's within range. I keep telling them, multiply the number of tenders you're doing, use more and more green hydrogen. I used to have a power minister with whom I used to spar occasionally. He was a colleague in the civil service with me. I told him, your green hydrogen is not going to take off because you're going to spend it in the power sector. Green hydrogen will take off when my friend Mr. Sani starts using it in his refineries. You got 11 refineries. How many are you using it in just now? One. I had got your predecessor with great difficulty. I said, at least 2 go for. I said, why don't you go for more? So if the refineries start using green hydrogen, it'll come. We're already into green ammonia now. You're already talking about green ammonia being sold to Singapore, sold to Germany, etc. I'm making the point that I think with the help of technology, innovation, and prudent government policy, I cannot guarantee, you guys know another country, the largest economy in the world, and when the debate on sustainability was there, they were in the forefront. When I was sitting with my colleagues in the UN and we were devising, we were going from the transition from the Millennium Development Goals to the Sustainable Development Goals, we were talking about energy transition in a very different way. We made mistakes because in order to do the transition successfully, you've got to survive the present and have a roadmap to the transition area. But now those guys are back to drill, baby, drill, and it seems as if that's going back. So there's no accounting for that. But I think between now and 2050, my view is, and I'm choosing my words carefully, energy transition is here to stay. In India, certainly, we take great pride in the fact, and I keep asking my colleagues, is this correct? We are the only country in the G20 which has met its Paris commitments. We will go down the energy transition route, whether it is natural gas, which is a link fuel, or it is compressed biogas, compressed natural gas, biofuel blending. We are diversifying the feeds. Earlier it was sea-heavy molasses, then broken food grain, then agricultural waste, then we did bamboos in the northeast, Numaligarh refinery, and now recently we've done 1,000 acres of experimenting on sweet sorghum, and we're doing to other. So I think when we do this, let's say, and Gareth, I hope you're going to be around for as long as he is. I'm not sure about myself because I'm getting on in age. But if we do this analysis 3 to 5 years from now, you'll find that some role in there from positive, motivated, transition-anchored government policies can hopefully make sure that both the graphs, the current trajectory going up 2050 is not going into the sky, and the below 2 degrees also not. So with that, with these qualifying remarks, once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've done a great job, and 11 years is a long time. And I don't know, I don't suppose guys like you can retire. And so I'm sure you're going to be around, adding to the dissemination of knowledge in this very coveted field. I've been in this ministry only, it's my 5th year. And I feel that if you look at what I've learned in these few years, that's an education in itself. And it's, I feel like an undergraduate student who, wants to hear and learn more. So heartiest congratulations and thank you very much.